Welcome to Darkest Dungeon 2. My name is Nilaus, and this is a guide to the boss of the first chapter, the Denial boss, or the Brain. This is the easiest boss, but it is made more difficult by the fact that you only have your starter team and you're lacking a lot of the core skills for these classes. So this video is using the starter team to kill the boss and show you how it is done. As usual, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking the video. Let's take a look at the boss.
Behold, the source of the stain, gateway to incomprehensible emptiness.
This boss only has one gimmick and it's all about managing that gimmick, which we'll see.
The mind must be freed of its self-imposed incarceration.
Right, so as we are looking at this, we can see that they got a buff. There are 4 locks here, and each of them will lock. So the first one that happened was stress lock, and then there's the first one is the lion here is the melee. The second with the arrows is the ranged lock. The third one is the healing lock, and the fourth one is the stress lock. So that means they will take turns. They cannot be the same twice in a row unless it's the only one left, and then they will simply block all skills and abilities that do these kind of things. So you can see here, I was fortunate enough to pick up some of those otherworldly fragments, which are really amazing for this fight. Since my team is mainly melee focused, I'm going to focus on the melee one first. My sequence is melee or range, depending on what your primary damage is, and also try to make sure that your team is having all of your characters have something they can do if their primary damage is locked out. So for example, if the tank can't attack, then he can taunt. If the highwayman can't attack, then he can maybe take aim. You know, have something that you can do if your core skill is locked up. So that, and then try to balance out that you can foresee what is coming next round. So see if you can anticipate it. So their damage is, one of their key points is stunned. They stunned a lot, and it's kind of dangerous. The key here is that obviously you think that as you kill more, it gets easier, but as one dies, they give a buff to the other one. So when the melee lock buffs, it gives 20% damage to the other ones. When the ranged one locks, it gives 10% crit to the other one. When the healing one dies, then it gives 30 heal for everyone. And with stress heal, then I have no idea what it does, because that's always the last one you take. So that's the way it is. So I take the 2 attacks here. I am trying to, because I want to minimize the time that they are getting this buff, this 20% damage, 10% crit, then I am trying to walk down both of these at the same time, particularly since it's so dot heavy. Then I am trying to take the 2 that prevents my attacks down at the same time. So unfortunately it gets one more attack in, and you can see here we now have 2 people stunned. So if you can have any kind of stun resist or stun removal, that makes this easier fight. But then again, you're probably very limited at this point. So at this point we can heal. I'm kind of anticipated that it's likely that the next round could be a healing block. So that's why I'm luckily it's a denial reason. You can see that we could actually do the mana downs could do with a little bit of stress healing, but that's not really an option. So at this point I want to move forward. The 2 first ones are already dead, so we can start working on the next one. When there's only 2 left, that means that's every other turn that they lock something. And locking healing down for every other turn is okay. Locking stress down every other turn, it's okay. But you don't want to have the healing one left at the end, at least in my opinion, because then you cannot heal for the rest of the fight, and it becomes a very hard damage race. Also, if we look at it, any damage we put on the stress lock is completely irrelevant, because it will heal 30 when the healing lock dies. So you could also take the healing lock first, because then it doesn't heal the other ones, but I prefer it this way. It seems to safer. So now I know that the next one is going to be a stress lock, so let's get a little bit of stress healing in so they don't bleed down. And I also know that the next round will be a healing lock. At this point we could take aim, or we can just keep doing some damage. They don't have a lot of hit points. They only have 55 hit points here in the very first round, which makes it a lot easier and quite a manageable fight, despite you're not having a lot of abilities. You can see the 13 damage coming in here. If that was a crit, oof, that would have hurt a lot. So we need to, you can see that heals for 18. Now there's only 1 left, and has deals a lot of damage. You can see it does get in here, and it goes denied reasons. See, that means no more stress healing for the rest of the fight, which should not be that too big of a deal. it is fully healed, and then 20 non-crit damage is quite a lot. So they do a lot of damage here at the end. Luckily, it doesn't have any. Well, it did have a little bit of dot, so luckily it could actually have gone south. But it's even if it did, or even if it's that, it would have been that big of a deal. They have a little bit. They don't have a lot of bleed, blight, and burn resist, so you can judiciously apply that as well to multiple. You can also just sort of try to kill them all almost at once, but then you still have the problem of when the healing one dies, it heals 30 to all the other ones. It's not the big deal, but it's more damage you need to apply. So at this point, we are just walking this one down. It has 55 hit points, and we've done no damage to this at all. It does kind of do a little bit of damage, but it's with all 4 still alive and all focusing on it, it's really not a problem. And we can just, yeah, we could have gone for a healing, but I don't think it matters because it can't apply dots. So if it can't apply dots, it's not really going to be getting any... if it can't apply dots, then it's not really at any risk. It can bring someone to death door, but it can't get anyone further than that. We'll just go for it. It doesn't have a lot. Look at this. This is really lucky that we have double... what was it called? Double days, and that gives a stun. Really, that was kind of what I was hoping for, and we are now... It is already dead, so we can then kill the last one, and that actually is how you deal with this boss. So dots are great. Stun resistance if you can find it. Focus your main damage first, either the range or the melee. Focus the other damage afterwards. If you have a full melee team, then maybe you can leave the ranged for later on. But then at the end you have the healing and the stressor, and then you take the healing, and then the last one is the stressor, because that's easier to avoid for the rest of the fight. So I hope that was a useful guide on how to deal with the first boss with a starter team. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more guides like this. Until next time, take care and stay effective.